wash your freaking hands before you finger your woman, okay? That's a best practice anybody should follow in your whole life, okay? So this is my guess, that this scene is literally was put there, and it's literally was written like this to make this outcome, to upset people, make it, be ridiculed online, and you can write a lot of articles about how the hatred towards the show is just homophobia. And therefore, every negative criticism and every negative rating is just review bombing and homophobia and nothing else. This is what I think. Because I literally cannot find any other reason that otherwise decent writers would write anything like this. My expectations were actually quite low. But damn, I am surprised. I mean, I'm stunned what I saw. And the most annoying thing of this entire thing, this entire discussion, is that people on the internet, especially journalists and, other activist type, are trying to frame this kind of outrage and negative perception of the episodes that, yeah, everybody is just homophobe. Everybody is upset because, Ellie is gay in the story. No, I personally did know that Ellie is gay since 10 years ago. Yeah, it's more than 10 years ago, so no, I'm not upset because Ellie is gay. However, how their gay relationship was presented in this show was horrible. And I must say, I don't like the video games. I don't like Last of Us 2 as a video game. But I have to admit that the relationship there was significantly better. Now, if you did not see the episode, Ellie in the story is immune to this zombie outbreak. That's basically the core plot point of the entire story. So Ellie is immune. Her girlfriend Dina does not know that. So there's a situation when they are attacked by zombies, and Ellie is protecting Dina with her arm, and the zombie bites Ellie's arm. So, they get out of the situation, and Dina is immediately, oh my god, you got bit, you're going to turn into a zombie, I have to shoot you. And, Ellie is just telling her that, no, don't have to, I'm immune. And, okay, a little back and forth, and let's wait it out, and they are, agree that they are going to wait for Ellie to turn, and if she is not turning, that means that they are good. And there's a little tense scene when they are waiting for her to turn, and a little discussion. Time passes, we know that Ellie is immune, and now Dina finds out as well that she's immune. And great, she's not going to die. Yay, happy. And this is the time when Dina tells Ellie that actually I'm pregnant. Which is, again, they are lesbians, so obviously, the child is not from Ellie, it's from Dina's ex-boyfriend. So basically, Dina and her ex were on and off, for a time, and, things happened, and, here comes a child. And I cannot really describe it, Ellie is not going to die. Yeah, they're happy. Dina telling Ellie that she's pregnant. They are happy because of that. And they start to have a lesbian sex scene there, which is, awkward for many, many different reasons. First and foremost, they did not bathe for a long time in this series. And not just that, Ellie just got bitten by a zombie. You literally have zombie saliva on your arm and hands, mixed with blood and whatever dirt ever touched you, in the past couple of hours. So, that's literally the Black Plague is right now on your arms, and you finger with those dirty hands your pregnant girlfriend. I mean, I know it's a zombie apocalypse and such, and hygiene is not really not the same standard of hygiene, as our modern world and modern civilization. But dude, I mean, it's just gross. Okay, it's just gross. And no, dear journalist who's writing your freaking article, no, it's not gross because they are lesbians. It's gross because they're dirty, and not in a sense of, a swear word in the literal sense. They are covered with shit, blood, and saliva. Okay? Wash your freaking hands before you finger your woman. Okay? That's a best practice anybody should follow in your whole life. Okay? So, yeah. And the show is just literally the scene where Ellie gets bitten by a zombie. They have hand-to-hand combat with zombies. They are, running through old, dirty places and such. And right after that, sexy. Dude, it's just gross. Okay. And then comes the worst dialogue I saw since Star Wars Episode 2, the Sand dialogue in Star Wars, this is just...
We're having a baby. I mean, we and also, I guess, Jesse here. It was Jesse, right? So we're all having a baby. Holy shit. I'm gonna be it.
Again, it's just wrong on so many levels. First and foremost, they are not non-binary, they are not trans, they are not whatever, In this story, they are two lesbian women. They're not identifying in any other way. So, immediately what it reminded me is this boomer take when a lesbian or gay couple is meeting with an older person and they're asked this ridiculous question, and which one of you is the mother and which one of you is the father? This kind of question, which is just the deep misunderstanding of the entire thing. And yet now writers literally write characters like this. I'm going to be a father. And of course there are people on the internet who are protecting this ridiculous line. This is just a badly written line. Let's just accept it. But no, of course not. There are people who are fans of the show and they are going to pretend that this is completely fine line. This is completely makes sense. And the only justification I find that this was a joke. Ellie was obviously joking. Okay, it was Ellie's quirky. She's joking, and she knows that she's a tomboy. A little bit manly, and therefore she's joking that yeah, I'm going to be father. First and foremost, if you actually watch the scene, just watch the scene, watch the delivery, watch the, body language. Is she delivering a joke here? Is she, having comedic timing? No, she's literally having a chain of thought. She's literally, lamenting about that, they are going to be raising a baby together. And for that, she expresses her joy that, oh my god, I'm going to be a father. Because in the game, this entire scene is completely different and it's significantly better. It's night and day, to be honest. In the video game, Ellie is freaking out that Dina is pregnant because Ellie is literally trying to, plot her vengeance to somehow avenge Joel's death. And she's, just trying to figure out what's the next move, how to find out where Abby is, how to, make her pay. And then Dina's revealing that she's pregnant is complicating things. It's making things harder and obvious that now they're supposed to just reject this vengeance plot, go home and raise the kid. That would be the obvious logical step to do. But she is seeking revenge. She wants to take revenge, and that is why she's not really happy to have the baby. So, on the one hand, she's really happy for this baby. She's really wants to raise this kid together with Dina. This is the most beautiful image of life what they could have in the zombie apocalypse. But she just simply cannot do that because vengeance is more important. She just cannot sit and enjoy life. And that is why when Dina's revealing in the video game that she's pregnant, Ellie is freaking out. And as she's freaking out, Dina is telling her, don't worry, it's not yours. That's a joke. That is a joke because it has comedic timing and it has something funny. The funny thing is the ridiculousness that Basically, Dina pretends that Ellie is freaking out because, she just revealed she's pregnant, and normally, people would be freaking out of pregnancies because they have an unwanted pregnancy, that they had sex and, they now have a child which they did not plan to. And Dina is essentially pretending that Ellie is freaking out because of that it's that lack of situation, which is ridiculous, and that is why it's funny. Now, compare this to the I'm gonna be a dad, let's call it joke. What's the joke here? That she's a girl and therefore she's not going to be the dad? Again, in our current political climate, I'm not entirely sure that we can say that. we just had this discussion on the internet and on everywhere nowadays from progressive that no, a female can be a dad if she wants to, a male can be a mother if he wants to, it's interchangeable, whatever. Yeah, I disagree with that notion, but progressives don't. So that is why when in our current day and age, if you make this as a joke, first and foremost, people by default should not behave like it is a joke, because it's something you guys usually don't joke about. And on the other hand, if it is a joke, isn't this, spitting in the face of your entire movement, of your entire ideology? That, if you identify as whatever, that's what you are now. Isn't this insensitive by the writer's own political agenda? Weird, and it's just bad. And in the end of the day, if it was a joke, it's not funny. But it doesn't seems like it is a joke. And, that is why what I think that this line in the show was literally put there to upset conservative viewers. Because everybody did know that these kind of one-liners, these kind of, things are going to be shared on the internet, and it's going to be everywhere. And then articles can be written about that how much homophobic people are not loving the show. And these kind of jokes and this kind of ridiculing of the scene is going to be interpreted as an attack of homosexuality. I do believe that they intentionally did put this scene there to do exactly that. And they literally do that. They literally write these articles. It was obvious that it's going to be ridiculed online. And guess what? It was ridiculed online. And then articles were written about how much homophobic people are trying to smear this series, and they are review bombing on Metacritic and such, and therefore every quote-unquote hater of the show can be painted as a homophobe. So this is my guess, that this scene is literally was put there, and it's literally was written like this to make this outcome, to upset people, make it, be ridiculed online, and you can write a lot of articles about how the hatred towards the show is just homophobia. And therefore, every negative criticism and every negative rating is just review bombing and homophobia and nothing else. This is what I think. Because I literally cannot find any other reason that otherwise decent writers would write anything like this. It's just not aligning with their political views. It's not a well-written line. It's just ridiculous. It's badly written, it's badly acted, it's a bad line. The entire scene, the entire setup is just gross and ridiculous. So, yes, I do wholeheartedly believe that this entire thing with this gross sex scene, how dirty and zombie saliva and everything, and adding these cringy and badly written lines right after that, this entire segment, it was purposefully created to be ridiculed online and to justify that you use transphobia as a shield for any criticism.